The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by the BDVA IS Spaces group. We're really happy to see many known faces in the audience, and also very happy to see the interest that our webinar has risen in the community. The objective of this webinar is threefold. Okay. For those of you not really familiarized with the concept of IS Spaces, we would like to provide some information about the concept, the activities that we are doing, and also the upcoming activities that we are facing. For those of you deciding whether to apply or not to be a recognized IS Space, okay, we would like to be able to convince you to do that. If not this year, this edition, at least for the edition of the upcoming years. And for those of you in the process of applying this year, we would like to solve the issues that you might have, and also to provide well, a reference point, a reference starting point where you can start with your application. Okay. So to this end, we think that we have a very good representation of the IS Spaces group here. My name is Daniel Alonso, and I am with ITI, a Technological Center in Valencia, in Spain. I am also chairing the IS Spaces group. We have also Sergio from Itainova. Itainova is the coordinator of the Aragon Digital Innovation Hub. Then we have Pericles from Demokritos, and he's coordinating the AHEAD DIH, which is also coordinated by Demokritos Center in Greece. Oscar Corcho, who is a full professor at the Political University of Madrid, and they are also recognized DIH and cluster in HPC and AI. And Ricardo from the CIDAR is the Center of Applied AI in Dublin, and they are also recognized DIH on big data and artificial intelligence. So hopefully we will be able to provide all of you with this information that you are looking for. Okay. So this is the agenda that we are proposing. First, we will have a first session that I will introduce the concept, the value and collaboration of the IS Spaces, and also I will provide some insights about the labeling process, and then each of my colleagues of the IS Spaces will tell about their experience on the process, how the value for them of being IS Space, and so on. And well, we have the closing session and final remarks. But before going ahead with the webinar, just let me share with you some practical consideration. First, be sure that you have your panel extended, because it might be the case that you have your panel not extended, and in this case you will not be able to see all the functions of the panel. So just if you see this red arrow at the upper part of the panel, just click and you will see all the functions of the panel. Besides, only presenters and moderator can speak, so you will be mute during the webinar. But if you want to ask questions, you can go to the question area and enter your question there. We will try to address all the questions during the webinar, and in any case, all the questions that you might ask will be addressed after the webinar in a post-webinar report that we will publish in our web pages, together with the presentation and the video of the webinar. Okay. And I will remind you of this next step after the webinar, but be aware that again all the content will be available in our web pages. Also, be aware that the call for IS Spaces is now open. We will probably extend the call until the end of June, because in principle it will close at the end of May. But we will probably extend the call until mid-June, so stay tuned for a possible extension. We have also opened the call for reviewers. So if you are not applying for being an IS Space and you are interested in be part of our panel, send your expression of interest to the email address that appears there, or send just an email to my email address that will appear at the end of the presentation. And also, I would like to inform you that, okay, this webinar is about the let's say, the most operative aspect of the iSpaces group, but we are organizing another webinar, the 24th of June, together with the Commission, that will be most about the policy and strategy. So to this end, 3 people from the Commission will be involved in this webinar, again, the 24th of June, and at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, we will have people from the DIH group for the data and policy, and from the robotics and AI, Ana Marisa Sen, Kimo Rossi, and Cecile Huet. And we will also present officially the new project that we, the iSpaces, have driven, the EU Has for Data project. So the registration is already open. In any case, we will promote through our channels during the next days. Okay. So now just start from the beginning, and I will present the iSpaces concept. And the beginning was the real beginning was in 2014, when BDVA was founded. And just from the very beginning, BDVA included the concept data innovation space in the SRIA, in the strategic and research innovation agenda. In this slide, you can see there the roadmap that the BDVA proposed to the Big Data Value PPP. And you can see that the European innovation spaces were considered a main instrument to foster data-driven innovation in Europe, together with the lighthouse projects, the technical projects, and the ecosystem enablers. So European innovation spaces is a term that was, if not coined, at least proposed by the BDVA already in 2014 in the first version of the SRIA. But what an iSpace is, well, basically an iSpace, or a data innovation space, aims to provide to industry, but more specifically to SMEs and startups, an environment for data-driven experimentation and innovation, so that these actors, small actors like SMEs, startups, and other actors that in principle do not have access to the last advances in data-driven innovation, are able to have their data-driven services solution quickly tested, piloted, and exploited before going to the market. So in this way, the iSpaces not only bring together technical assets and access to data, but also all the blocks and all the features needed for those companies to have all these solutions in place in the market. So in this case, you can see there in this figure the 6 dimensions that the iSpace are covering, not only technical dimension, but also application, business, in the sense that we are able to provide a business model and also a proof of concept, social aspect, because we are helping our SMEs at the local level to make progress in the data economy, skills, and also legal aspect. Okay. So again, all the information about the iSpaces is collected in the SRIA or the BDVA, and the SRIA is available in the web page, and you can check for if you are interested in more detail. In this slide, I just summarize the main aspect of the iSpaces. The main characteristic, as I mentioned before, is to bring together technology and application deployments, also access to data sets, and other aspects, for instance, incubators and accelerator, developing skills, a new business model, and so on. And an iSpace could provide a wide range of services, but starting with ICT support and, of course, allocation of resources for experimentation, also data sets cataloging and access to data sets, but also all the concept about data privacy protection and data governance. Okay. And finally, well, the design of this of the data spaces is also to provide relationship with the community on data, to provide other services about the storage and so on. If we have to place the iSpaces in the figure, in the landscape, as you can see there, the idea is to provide to all these actors, not only projects, but also industry, academia, and research, with a lower level that provide data sources, data sets, data providers, all the tools, in the sense that all these actors could use the iSpaces as environment for experimentation and innovation, for training, for testing, showcase, and benchmarking. Okay. So at this point, probably you are thinking that the concept of an iSpace is quite similar to what is a digital innovation hub, And you will be right, because actually, as you remember, the Digital Innovation Hub was a term that was proposed by the European Commission around 2016, 2017. And the idea was to bring technology closer to the industry at local and regional level. And probably you remember that the Digital Innovation Hub should rely in one or several competence centers, and the competence centers are the ones that provide all the infrastructure and all the technical assets to the Digital Innovation Hub. And on top of that, the Digital Innovation Hub proposed an extended, let's say, an extended catalog of services. So in this way, we can see that a data innovation space, we consider only the basic services, is quite similar to a competence center in big data, because we are able to provide infrastructure, ICT support, asset support, and all resources about data protection and privacy. But as we incorporate new services in the data innovation space, for instance, community building, federation, business development and support, and benchmarking and incubation and acceleration, a data innovation space is more and more similar to a DIH on big data, to a digital innovation hub on big data. So taking this into consideration, we can say that an innovation space could range from a competence center on big data to a whole data innovation hub on big data, depending on the catalog of the ISPs. But what happens in the new European landscape, in the new European ecosystem with the new upcoming initiatives? Well, because as you know, in the new framework program, the Commission is considering new aspects and new initiatives. In the first hand, we have the European Digital Innovation Hubs that will be included in the Digital Euro program and will be a key aspect of this Digital Euro program. And even though the European Digital Innovation Hub will be basically providing aspect in AI, HPC, and cybersecurity, it's true that the common denominator of these three technologies is data. So to this end, we are sure that, again, iSpaces could play a key role in this ecosystem of new European Digital Innovation Hub, as we have played in the past with the traditional digital innovation hubs. Okay. But the new aspect that has to be considered is the European data spaces that the European Commission has included as part of the European data strategy. And since these European data spaces will be providing aspects as data sharing, data interoperability, data governance, data sovereignty, those concepts are still quite related to data innovation spaces, what we are offering right now. So again, iSpaces will also be aligned with these European data spaces proposed in this European data strategy of the Commission. And finally, an additional aspect that we as data innovation spaces are considering are the experimentation as testing, as I mentioned before. And the European Commission is planning to include testing and experimentation facilities for AI in the new program. And even though it's true that these testing and experimentation facilities will have a wider dimension than the iSpaces, because they have the European dimension, and will be first-class reference in Europe, it's true that we, from the iSpaces, could collaborate to these TEF facilities in the sense that we could provide an access point to this TEF to the companies in our regional and local ecosystem. So all in all, I would say that, again, the iSpaces is a term that comes from the beginning of BDVA, from 2014. During this time, many new initiatives have appeared, as I mentioned before. But as you can see, we think that the iSpaces are quite aligned with many of the initiatives that appeared during the last years. Okay. So now I will jump to the value and collaboration that we from the iSpaces group could offer to the members, to the new members. But first, before going ahead, I would like to show you the map of the current iSpaces. As you can see here, at this time we are 15 iSpaces, which are also 15 recognized DIH on AI and big data in Europe. We have a fair geographical coverage. Still, we are missing members from the Baltic and the East Europe countries. But we are confident that with the call of this year and also with the call of the following years, we will be able to cover, to have a wider, let's say, geographical coverage. Okay. And what we can offer to the iSpaces, what we are offering to the members of our group. Well, first, we are offering visibility at European level. Of course, many of you are already BDVA members, and as such, you have access to our webpage and our channels. But being an iSpace means that we will be able to offer even further promotion. Of course, the iSpaces are promoted and have a dedicated sections in the web pages of the BDVA and of the Big Data Value PPP. But we are also we can also use the social channels media of the PPP. For instance, in Twitter we have almost 3,000 followers, so we can post news about our group and our activities in these channels. And we are also delivering a monthly newsletter to almost 2,000 people. So we think that they are very good channels to make your activities as iSpaces visible at European level. And also, we can also provide a relationship with similar initiatives in Europe. You can learn from each other in terms of best experiences, in terms of good practices, and so on. We are also organizing joint activities and events. For instance, this webinar and the upcoming webinars are good examples of our collaboration at groups, and also our participation in different events, for instance, the European Big Data Value Forum and the different summits that the PPP has organized in the past, and, well, hopefully will organize in the future. And finally, a very important point, a quite interesting point, is the collaboration in proposals and projects. And as a good example of this collaboration in proposals, I would like to present you the new project, which is EU Has for Data, European Federation of Data-Driven Innovation, which is a project that was just we were notified that the project will be funded under the DTICT 05 call, which called Digital Innovation Hubs on Big Data. It was based on a proposal driven by the 10 iSpaces at 2018. So at the end of 2018, the 10 iSpaces at that time, we started to collaborate in this proposal. It's a very ambitious project because it aims to build a European Federation of Big Data Digital Innovation Hubs. The idea is to rely on our, to federate all our offers in order to create an European federated catalog of data sources and data sets, and be able to offer to provide this offer in our cases at regional level. So based on our collaboration, we will improve the offer of all our DIH, our iSpaces. Again, this is a quite ambitious project that relies in these 6 pillars that you can see there. The starting point, which are these 10 iSpaces, the evolution, because our plan is to grow, to increase the federation of digital innovation hubs with new DIH, and of course we will consider the new iSpaces in this project to engage the new iSpaces in this federation. The offer, because we aim to create a federated offer of services and data sets. The demand, we will publish open calls to attract SMEs to our federation. The community, because as you can see here, we would like to engage all the initiatives in Europe around data and become the reference for data-driven experimentation and innovation. And the model and the future, because the objective of this federation is to go beyond the project, to go beyond 2022, and to be and to consolidate as a federation of DIH on big data. So as you can see here, this is a good example of what the collaboration between iSpaces has achieved, has accomplished. And based on what I have said before, we really think that we have multiple options of collaboration in the new framework program. As I mentioned before, we have the DIH, the European DIH, and since all of us are already DIH, we are quite confident that we will, or most of us, or all of us will become European DIH in the new program. Again, we can exploit the dimension of data space for data sharing, data governance, and data sovereignty. And also, we can also align with the new testing and experimentation facilities. So to this extent, we can consider the new project EU Has for Data just as a starting point of collaboration. And it will serve as a transition, a bridge between the program, the Horizon 2020 program, and the new framework program, considering Digital Europe and Horizon Europe. And it will also serve us as collaboration with other networks, other clusters, and other initiatives. We are already collaborating with EU Robotics. We are collaborating with IDSA, with ITSA. We are collaborating with many others. So the idea is to create a whole ecosystem around big data, of which the iSpaces will be at the core of this collaboration. Okay. So well, this was about the value and we can offer to the members and to the new members. And finally, let me just explain briefly what is the labeling process. So in order to identify and recognize valuable initiatives in Europe, the Big Data Value Association launches every year a process, again, to identify and recognize relevant initiatives in the landscape. So the idea is to ensure the quality and impact of the new data innovation spaces, and to create a group under this umbrella. The call for labels of 2020 is open now, so you can go to the BDVA webpage. You can see the link here in my presentation, and there you will see all the information about the process. You have there all the information about the process. But let me explain briefly how the process is. First, we launch this open call, as I mentioned before. The idea is to collect information about the applicants, and to this end, we have designed a questionnaire, a quite exhaustive questionnaire that is available in this webpage of BDVA. Once we have the information of the candidates to this questionnaire, we'll review the information through an external group of reviewers. And I have to mention that here we have also launched a call for reviewers. Some of the people in the audience will be part of this group, and if you are interested on being part of this group of reviewers, please let me know, because this group of reviewers will evaluate all the applications. Finally, we will have a committee of all the reviewers to reach consensus on the final score. We propose to the board of directors of the BDVA, which is our proposal for them to approve, and then we announce to the new iSpaces. So the idea is for the ceremony of the handout trophies to take place during the European Big Data Value Forum. Here you can see pictures of previous editions. This year, this event is planned to be carried out between from the 3rd to 5th of November. But due to the COVID crisis, the format of the event is now being, let's say, reconfigured. So probably we are not sure if we will be able to run the ceremony like that, a face-to-face ceremony in the event. But in any case, we will do something for this ceremony. So just to be sure that we give the relevance to this handout ceremony, and we promote accordingly. So again, we will try to do our best. We are not sure about the right format of the final format of this event, but in any case, we will have a ceremony. Okay. So once we have all the information from the different iSpaces, the different candidates, this information is distributed in 5 domains. The first one is the infrastructure and technology, and in this case, our idea is to collect all the information about, well, let's say the hardware assets of the iSpace, computing power and capacity, the capacity of the network, how these resources are allocated for experimentation, how all these resources are accessible from outside your DIH, and also about policies, standards, and certification. We also include in the questionnaire a section to provide any other additional information that you might consider relevant for this section. So it's not only about quantifiable information, but it's also about qualitative information that you can provide in the way of this additional information. Then we collect also information about the services. And here, as I mentioned before, you can have an idea of the services that we are asking for. Well, basically, of course, all about technical support and technical asset, but also about advanced services, for instance, incubation and acceleration, data governance, privacy and protection, business support and business model, and skills and data sets. Okay. Then we are also interested in what projects, what sectors are the iSpace involved, and how many projects and the size of these projects that the iSpace is involved, because it gives us an idea of how active is not only about providing assets, but it's also about doing real experimentation and real innovation with the infrastructure. It's also important for us the ecosystem and the collaboration. How is the impact of your organization, of the iSpace organization in the ecosystem? In how many actors are engaged in the iSpace, in the DIH, but also in which clusters, in which initiatives is the initiative involved, and also which is the networking and the collaboration with other initiatives. And finally, is also very important the maturity of the iSpace, of the digital innovation space, because it's not the same if the iSpace was just founded this year, as it has several years of experience. So this is what we ask about the growth strategy, the impact, the service strategy, which is the outreach at European level, which is the model for sustainability that the iSpace has planned for the future, and also, well, a rough idea about the revenue model. So as you can see here, the questionnaire is quite exhaustive, because our idea is to collect as much information as possible. Well, if you are interested in applying and you are facing any time constraint because you will not be able to have in time all the information, please contact me separately, and we can think of a kind of extension, okay? But so don't hesitate if you are interested to apply to contact me, because we can manage and to some way or another. So once we have all the information, the reviewers score each of the excellent domains of the iSpace based on this metric. So each domain is scored from 1 to 5, depending on the information that the iSpace provided. And once we have the information from the reviewers, the labeling process is done in this way. So if the iSpace has 3 or more domains above 1, they will have the bronze label. If 3 or more domains are above 2, they will have the silver labels. And if all domains are between 3 and 5, they will have the maximum level, which is gold. Okay, so again, we have the questionnaire. You will have to fill out all the information in the questionnaire. The reviewers will review the questionnaire and will assign a score based on these merit levels. And then the labeling process will be, well, straightforward from the scoring, and it will be like I am showing this in this slide. And again, this information will be sent to the board of the BDVA to have their approval and to announce to the winner iSpaces. And basically, that's all from my side. Again, remember that we have 2 calls open: the call for labels and the call for reviewers. For the call for labels, you have all the information in the web page. So there you will see the questionnaire, the mail to send the questionnaire, and all the information. Regarding the call for reviewers, if you are interested, send an email to this email address that appears here, or just send an email directly to me. Also remember that we are organizing this webinar with the Commission in the 24th of June. And I think it will be quite interesting for most of you. So don't forget to register. The registration is already open, and we will promote during the next days. Okay. So this is all from my side. If you don't have any question, and I don't see any question still in the chat, we will go to the next speaker, who is Sergio Mayo from Itainova. Okay.
Hello everybody. I think you can see my screen now. Yes, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Hello everyone, and thanks for attending this meeting. I hope that among all of us we can guide you in this process. My name is Sergio Maya. I work at Itainova, which is a research and technological center in Zaragoza, in Spain. We are now the coordinators of the Aragon DIH, which is the regional innovation hub in Aragon, and we are now a silver label in this iSpaces map. And as many of you, we are now trying to apply for the renewal or for a newcomer in this program. And let me show you some facts that I hope that they will help you in this process. So first, some words about us, about ITA Innova. We are based in Zaragoza. We are around 232 people working here, and most of us working mainly for companies with private contacts and also in research projects. As you see here in this next slide, we have around 12 million, 13 million euros annual budget, and our main fields of activity are on the right side. You see here, ICT and logistics are not our main focus in ITA Innova, but with the iSpace and with the artificial intelligence and big data departments, we're not focusing more and more projects. And as you see on the left side, we are not working only in competitive funding projects, but mainly with private contacts with SMEs, big companies, not only national or regional, but mainly European companies. And in this process of becoming an iSpace label, we are checking that this is a really useful asset for SMEs to work with us, to know that they are working with a labeled DIH. Okay, now this is our DIH, our own DIH. You see here, sorry, yes, as you see here, we have faced it as we like to say that this is a regional PPP. I know that you are aware of what a PPP is, and we try to found this DIH as a regional PPP. We don't have a legal entity. We have a signed agreement between the three founders, and you will see later. And actually, we try to focus on the two competence centers that we have in our own DIH. One is in HPC cloud, and the other one is focused on cognitive systems. And the three of us, the three founders, we are recognized as real research and innovation regional agents. That means that we collaborate with the regional government to define the S3 strategy. So this means that our DIH is really focused on the regional, technological, and smart strategy. We are now again working with the government in order to define the new strategy for the next years. And this is actually an asset for the DIH, because it is really focused on the regional assets and on the regional SMEs and interests, and of course in the two competence center capabilities. As you see here, we are now the coordinators, ITA Innova, and we are one of the competence center, the one focused on cognitive systems, and the other one is BIFI, belonging to the University of Zaragoza, which is the competence centers in HPC. And the third founder, and the founder of this DIH, is the Regional Economic Development Agency, IAF, and you see here. So we have these three actors, which actually cover almost the whole public activity related to promoting economic development and promoting knowledge sharing among all the ecosystem in the region. Well, after this short presentation about who we are and which are our main partners, let me explain you some words about why to apply to be a BDVA iSpace label. The first thing I wanted to share with you is that This is something to put in value the excellence of the DIH, of the ISPs in data-related technologies. This is something that the SMEs that we are working with actually really value, because they are aware that they work with a let's say quality set of services. In our own DIH, we have many kinds of services, but most of them are shared among the three founders. Now we are open the possibility to upload services to other members of the DIH, and this is a very weird process, because I think this is an asset for becoming a European DIH. So this standard of quality is a very important issue now, both for this label and for becoming a European DIH. Also, we are facing this process because we want to have visibility purposes. We are working very closely with I4EMS and FORSAE and with the IHNet, and actually these projects, these initiatives, actually they let us put in value why we are offering this set of services, and why we are sharing this knowledge and not another type of knowledge with the ecosystem. This is something that SMEs really value, and they want us to promote the services stated in the DIH more than other type of services that we're sharing separately in the three founders of the DIH. And of course, the last 2 points is that we have a deeper collaboration with BDVA, and also to stay ahead of the European data strategy. The process is really a very nice step to becoming this label. It's let us to put to focus on an internal self-knowledge and a compilation effort. And it is not useful only for the ISP's labeling process. Actually, we have a set of services, but the process of filling this form let us to identify another capabilities and research and innovation lines in order to put them as a ready-to-market services. As you know, a university or a research center, has a broad set of research and innovation lines, but this is different to have ready-to-market services. So just to fill this form, let us to think in the ready-to-market services way and not in the research and innovation lines. Of course, the collaboration among partners is key, because it led us to define and enhance a new services. We have services at Itainova, they have services at University of Zaragoza and also at IAF. But we are put this, let's say, inventory all together, and this led us to think about new services, new emerging services working in the existing services of the founders of the DIH. So the set of services we are now offering as DIH is an enhanced set, more than the services that we could provide separately the founders. And this is an exercise that the process, the filling the form is helping us to debug this set of services. And also, this is kind of roadmap for leveraging on those services. This form let us to state some KPIs. We are working in establishing some KPIs with this form in order to let us improve the services, and also to check which ones are better used by the companies, or which one they are requiring to be included in the set of services. So this form let us to put some KPI that we are using internally to check not only the readiness of the services, but the new services that we can include regarding the feedback of the users. And finally, about the value, we are working in a lot of projects. I didn't want to put all of them here because I don't want this to be just an inventory, but maybe the main one regarding the iSpace is the one that Daniel stated before, the IA hubs for data, which is starting really soon. But I wanted to put here two projects which are really interesting related to the iSpaces label that we have. The first one is an internet, which is called Labelscape, which is focused in tourism. And now we are, as iSpace, we are trying to compile all the labels regarding sustainable tourism in Europe. So we are defining new services for the tourist industry in order that they are able to be sure that their data are safe, are reliable, and they offer useful data for both for the industry and for the tourists. So this is an asset that we acquired, being in this community of iSpaces, and the partners of the project are really happy that we have this label in order to be sure that we assure the quality and the reliability of the data. And the second one is smart agri hubs. We are working in the Iberian cluster, and now we are starting to work in work package 4, which is the KPIs work package, and we are using some services that emerged from filling the form, that they will be useful for all the partnership in order to measure how mature a hub is regarding the agricultural data they are providing to the ecosystem, to the SMEs using them. Okay, and maybe the last line is the most important. The value that we are observing to become this iSpace label category is that we are using it also as a guidance internal, not only in vision, not only in strategy, but as I said before, defining a set of KPIs to guide us in the creation and in the renewal of new services. That we will focus on the services that are most used by the ecosystem, and we are also receiving feedback from the ecosystem in order to define new services and to evolve the existing one, and really the form and the segmentation of services that the iSpace label process is guiding us to define this new set of services and to define this new roadmap for modifying the existing one to let the ecosystem to use them more properly. Okay, so this is all from my side. I'm sorry if I delayed a lot. Sorry for this time. And if you have questions, I can answer later or now, or as Daniel said, in the coming days. Thank you.
Oh, okay, Sergio, thanks a lot for your presentation. It's true that the questionnaire is useful for us to organize internally our catalog of services and products. Okay, thanks a lot for your presentation. Again, if you have any question, the chat and the question panel is available for you. Now we jump to give the floor to Pericles from the Marketos, and he will tell us about this AHEAD DIH that they have built during the last months. So the floor is yours, Pericles.
Thank you, Daniel. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, then. So my name is Pericles Telixidis. Don't worry if you can't pronounce it correctly, because it's a difficult name even for Greeks. And I'm the executive officer of AHEAD. I'll try to give you a brief idea of our experience as newcomer to the BDVA iSpaces family. AHEAD stands for Attica Hub for the Economy of Data and Devices, and it is located in the Moktos National Center for Scientific Research Campus, some 10 to 12 kilometers northeast of Athens, Greece. So why we decided to apply for the label? We started considering our participation for obvious reasons. As you can see, we felt that our missions are the same, and also because we can find support and good practices, why not contribute to the family from many aspects, such as legal status, maturity progress of the European industry segments, for adopting AI, IoT, and big data solutions. Now, AHEAD is a relatively young hub. It was founded by 2 years ago, by Democritus NCSR and FINT, a very active spin-off company of Democritus, focusing on IoT and 4-5G platforms. We have as an objective to maximize the benefit of the research results of all Democritus institutes, with actually more than 700 researchers working in the campus, and organize the potential synergies in an effective and productive way. This is a challenge, I must tell you. Following the logic, as Sergio mentioned just before, of the labeling process, we were helped to structure our internal resources and workflow in order to get the maximum momentum from day one of our launching in the Greek marketplace. It's not, we have to manage not only the institute's courses, the spin-offs of the Democritus Technology Park, all the business partners of the different institutes of Democritus, and of course, state institutions and structures, top-level international partnership from Democritus. Now, we want to position in the minds of the Greek entrepreneurs as a trustful business partner who can help them move rapidly but smoothly in the next digital phase of their operation. After 10 years of deep economic crisis, this is an absolute must for the competitiveness of the Greek companies that are in the vast majority SMEs. Now, what are our priorities for the year 2020? First of all, we want to transform the everyday operation of the campus, in reality a community of almost 1,200 people, into a smart operation. So use platforms of various sensors, process the data and react accordingly. That will make us a showroom for the industry and society. And so they will realize that they can find advice and support for the development of similar use. In the context of the campus renovation, co-funded by the European Investment Bank, we will fully transform 3 buildings of different use, an institute, an office building, and administration, a public service equivalent, so that we can have also different experiences from the process of the data coming of these spaces. Our second priority is to convince selected priority industry segments for the potential benefits and the feasibility of AI, IoT, and big data management developments for their businesses. Just to give you some examples of our recent developments, it's a UV disinfection robotic system aiming at healthcare. That's the priority, but also can help professional service, cleaning professional services, transport, warehouses, schools, etc. An AI-empowered legal document classification system that is actually working, that could be also used in banking, insurance, etc. And also a digital governance platform of internal documents and protocols that can be used in various public services to facilitate and speed up the process, which is very critical for the Greek reality. And third, we feel an urgent need of the industry and society for training, meaning they need to know what to expect and what not to fear from AI and the digital era. We want to be able to advise our business partners for the right implementation of such developments in terms of organization, personnel, etc., qualifications. And finally, follow up and help them maximize the benefits of the systems when in use. So we want to develop a kind of after-sales service to our SMEs. That was all. I hope I was quite brief, and I gave you some food for thought. Our priorities for 2020. I thank you very much for your attention from Athens.
Okay, Pericles, thanks a lot. We are really happy to have Democritos as a partner of our group of AI spaces. So looking forward to collaborating in future development. Thanks a lot. Now we will give the floor to Oscar from the UPM. So he will tell us, hi Oscar, about this AI space for sustainability that they have set up in the past years. So the floor is yours, Oscar. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So thanks for inviting me for this panel. What I'm going to do is to present also quite a new AI space. I mean, we got the label last year, and the work that we are doing at UPM together with other organizations in relation to, I mean, using data and artificial intelligence for sustainability. Yeah, following the main idea that we have at UPM on focusing and supporting the Sustainable Development Goals. These are some numbers on our experience or expertise on artificial intelligence, where we have a good track record from the past. I'm not going to go into the main details over here, but mostly present you who are like the main organizations behind the scenes, yeah, of this AI space, and also of the corresponding DIH, as you see on the right part over here. So we have on the one hand the Supercomputing and Visualization Center, which is associated to UPM. We have also all the members of the AI department, which is quite an old department there in the university. We also have a joint center together with a center that is called AI Innovation Space, where we are bringing these prototypes to the market. And also we have two other organizations that are quite relevant. One of them is the Innovation and Technology for Human Development Center at UPM, which is a cross-cutting technology center that we have that is focused on sustainable development goals. And finally, the DIH on AI and robotics for sustainability, which also shows this connection between AI spaces and DIH, as Daniel was presenting, and all others have been presenting as well. Yeah. So just focusing a little bit on the technical capacities, I mean, which are the things that we are bringing, and I mean, I will go again into the services that we are currently providing. So yeah, we have computing and storage infrastructure, which is provided by our HPC center, yeah, as I mentioned before. And our main areas of expertise are mostly focused on the data integration and homogenization of large data sources of all types. Also, we have expertise on text analysis. I mean, like we have the presentation before where AI is also used for this purpose. On data sharing, especially, I mean, we have a good track record on working on open data policies with lots of public administrations and also companies. And now we are moving into the private data space as well. And also we have a lot of expertise on knowledge graph generation, ontology development, which is one of the key types of services that we are getting requests for. That said, I mean, we have other pieces of expertise like visualization, performance of database management systems, with several spin-offs going on that have gone out from the members of the team. Yeah. Which are the main services that we are proposing over here? Well, basically, I mean, when we talk about the services, we are supporting projects, yeah, through the AI Innovation Technology Center to move from these ideas to prototypes, from prototypes to the market, and we have a very well described process that can be followed. I mean, even from master students who can really even propose their own ideas and go into the market, and we have already a couple of successful experiences there. We are giving access to all our capacities and data sets, and especially now we are doing a lot of consultancy on data governance based on experience on previous EU projects and also on private projects with all sorts of organizations, public and private. We are also helping organizations, as I have said already, on deployment their data portals, either open or not, and in general data spaces following the European Strategy for Data, as well as knowledge graphs and APIs. So everything that has to do with making your data available so that others can use it, I mean, in whatever means you decide, yeah, that they can be used. And then, I mean, another important aspect that we have is the training programs. Yeah, we have specialized training programs for businesses and for public administrations, and also the usual MSCs on AI, data science, statistical computational information that are common in universities, as a main university center. And innovation entrepreneurship, we have had over more than 10 years already a spin-off generation program at UPM that is quite successful, and that has led to a lot of companies that are, in fact, alive for quite a long time. So these are like our main assets. The main types of services that we provide, and we decided to apply for the AI space as many others, as it has been already commented. First of all, because it reinforces the international visibility that we already had as groups. Like in EU projects and all sorts of international cooperations. But I think that has been relevant for us, because it has also generated a little bit more trust in all our potential end users. And when we also look at the regional part, as it was being commented by Sergio, we have also plenty of people from the regional area of Madrid that are asking for services to us. And this has even given us, for instance, access to strategic groups. For instance, like the big data cluster at the Madrid City Council, where a good number of companies and also universities and our IA space are now present. And we are developing ideas on how this should be moving forward in the coming years. That said, I decided just to show very quickly an example of one of the typical types of services that are being requested. I just selected one of the many examples that we have, but I thought that it was a good example of showing the types of needs that some organizations are bringing and are trying to solve with the iSpace and the DIH. So this was from the Regional Transport Authority of Madrid. They wanted to understand better the mobility patterns of senior citizens, so as to increase their usage, understand how they could provide better services for them. And then for this, they have the public transport car validation data, which is a very rich data source that they didn't know how to handle. They didn't know what to do with. They knew that it had a lot of potential to do a lot of data analysis, but they didn't know how to use it for this purpose. So we established a collaboration agreement, which was a combination of consultancy plus funding for a master thesis. So we connect over here with the training that we are doing in this topic. And there are already, one master thesis presented, 2 ongoing. So there are pieces of work that have been already going on in these 2 years. So in this very specific context, just using the public transport data usage, we have been able to apply AI techniques like for the generation of descriptive models, characterizing mobility patterns, relationship with respect to standard users and so on, and also predictive models to identify the behavior of individual users. And this raises lots of privacy, personal data protection aspects that we are also dealing with, as well as ethics. And using their patterns, their car validations, we are trying to identify behavior and try to see, how they could react and create better policies. So I think that this is a nice example of how this can be used for sustainability, which is our overall goal in the AI space. Okay, so that's all. I hope that I was brief and I have been able to present more or less like the main characteristics.
Okay, Oscar, thanks a lot. I know it's tricky to summarize just in a few minutes what you are doing in your DIH. So thanks a lot for your presentation. And now finally we have the experience from Ricardo from CIDAR. This is the Center of Advanced AI and Research in. I don't really remember the acronym what this stands for, so you can explain to Ricardo. So the floor is yours. Thanks.
Okay, very good. So can you see my screen there?
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, perfectly. Okay. So, go ahead.
So very good. Hello everyone. My name is Ricardo Simón Carvajo, and I'm the head of innovation and development in CIDAR. So CIDAR is Ireland Center for Data Innovation Hub in Artificial Intelligence, and also is a BDVA AI space. So I will try to be quick because I'm conscious of time. So CIDAR was created around 7 years ago as what they call here in Ireland technology centers. Technology center is very similar to the concept of data innovation hubs. Indeed, I think it's interchangeably used. And it was created by Enterprise and the IDA, the 2 organizations which promote helping with the two governmental organizations which are promoting industry, in Ireland. So they help industry from different angles. So all of these technology centers, they were created to actually help industry in different areas. For example, in the area of dairy, in the area of meat, in cloud computing, in manufacturing. Okay, so CEDAR was created to help industry in artificial intelligence. But everything we do, it's applied. Okay, so even though we are in two universities, as you can see there, in UCD, the largest university in Ireland, and in Technology University of Dublin, TUD, we don't do fundamental research. Everything we do is applied research. We are trying to bring, the research transform it into innovation, which is the value of a digital innovation hub. So as such, all our people, all our staff are actually, people who have experience in industry and also have experience in research. Okay, it's a hybrid, kind of mixture, which provides a lot of value. Also, we have collaborators, from different disciplines and different competences, across the two universities, and we collaborate with many other centers. As you can see, we are very proud, BDVA iSpace. We were silver, and it was 2 years ago when we applied. And also recently, a year ago, we were selected as the top 30 centers in Europe, which are the innovation hubs in AI. That was, there was lots of applications, around 200, 300 applications, and we were, one of the 30 ones selected. So that was quite, a good achievement as well. So as I said, we work for industry, so we have created this membership program in which we have more than 90 member companies, part of CEDAR. So once they become members, they have a lot of benefits, which I will cover now. And at the moment, we have around 50% SMEs, 50% multinationals. You can see different big groups there, and also very small ones there in different areas. For example, manufacturing, fintech, banking, utilities, telecommunications, and all of that. Okay, and we collaborate, with all of them, different projects. So in terms of services, we have two well-defined main services. We have what we call Open Innovation Service and the Closed Innovation Service. Open Innovation is because all our member companies can participate in this kind of projects. Okay, so we run what we call demonstrators every 6 months. So what happens is just all the member companies participate in proposing different challenges. So we hear what the industry has to say. Okay. Based on that, there is a voting system, and we select the top 6 or 8 demonstrators to execute during these 6 months. All the member companies participate. They just have regular seminars, and they can actually provide different feedback and also provide data. At the end of these 6 months, they have access to all of these demonstrators to use and license them. So that's the Open Innovation. Now we have the Closed Innovation Service, in which all these companies come. Sometimes, because they have user demonstrators, other times because they have their own challenges, they come to us, and then we just do a lot of brainstorming with them, data exploration, or one-to-one projects, or sometimes mini consortium projects. We also have, leverage, national and EU funding there. So in terms of CEDAR expertise, as a digital innovation hub in artificial intelligence, we do a lot of machine learning. We are specialized in this, deep learning, reinforcement learning, big data, blockchain as well, optimization, all of that, okay? And applications, we have a lot of competence in natural language processing, computer vision, predictive analytics. We do a lot of, predictive maintenance, data architecture as well, visualization, etc. there. And in verticals, as I was mentioning before, we have covered a lot of them, and we have actually developed competences in many areas, which is one of the good values of a digital innovation hub in AI. So we have in energy, manufacturing, aerospace, fintech, transport, smart cities, to name a few. Okay. So we are innovating with data. So they define these two main services, but we provide way more services, and all of these that I'm going to cover here are actually very much aligned, with what an iSpace is. Okay. So, for example, the first one is we provide access to this applied research in AI, not just research, but applied research, and always for the benefit of industry. So, industry, when they come, to us, they are looking for a fast solution. They're trying to minimize risk and just to explore a new technology, cutting-edge technology, or they are trying, to create a product in a particular, technology. It doesn't have to be cutting-edge, and that's what they want. So, we provide that, for them, either prototypes or ready products, for productionization. And then also we have multiple competencies. Okay, we just we have been, for example, doing work in I can say natural language processing, but in the area of cybersecurity as well, in the area of maintenance, lots of things. So the idea is that, you know, they come here to do projects, but also they come here as we are just agnostic. We are not biased in any way, okay, because we are funded by the government, and also because we can help them with, you know, leveraging funding from the government, or even we can bring them to the European landscape. Another thing which is very important, as well as an ISpace, we provide resources for innovation, particularly with big data. So we have skilled people, you know, who have a lot of experience, you know, in dealing with large sets of data. Also infrastructure, so large, you know, computers. Because actually many of these companies, particularly startups, they don't have access to this infrastructure, and even if they go to the cloud, it's quite expensive for them. So they want to actually, again, you know, minimize the risk, minimize the investment, and then come to us. So we are the enablers for them, you know. Also, we develop a lot of AI tools like the demonstrators, but all the other, you know, kind of proprietary tools that they can use. And we can provide as much as we can access to the data whenever it's possible. Okay, open data from the kind of data sets that are available in the government and so on. But obviously, you know, sometimes most of the data that, you know, companies bring is proprietary, you know, it's closed. In terms of development of the innovation ecosystem, we are very active, and that's what an iSpace has to do, okay, and a DAH. We are the proud co-founders of the European Data Science and AI Awards, which is in the 3rd year now, and we are partnering with the BDVA in that. We run monthly seminars for our members and even for our non-members to talk about AI, data science, big data, and also, you know, business-related, you know, challenges and all of that. Also, we organize and are invited to multiple events, multiple conferences that, you know, they need, you know, for us to talk about AI and provide, you know, our vision. Brokerage services as well. Many people come to us and they want us to link us with someone else, you know, to help them. So maybe software companies with us providing AI to help, you know, provide a complete solution for them. Lots of brainstorming sessions for startups. Many of them come to us, they are completely lost, they need a new AI strategy, and we just, you know, create it for them. And then access to market intelligence, we create our white label kind of reports, okay? So in different technologies, for example, let's say in blockchain, reinforcement learning, where they were new, we just did the study, and they can actually use they can use this report to actually explore how they can go into market with this technology. We provide, as I say, access to finance. We are experts in that, in leverage national funding and obviously as well European funding. And incubator services, that's something that, you know, is very key as well for iSpaces, and that's what we are doing. I can mention now quickly one project. And the last one is training and education. So we are kind of like developing the data science of the future there, and we have 2 programs. One is the World Ready Graduate Program. So these are just the university students who just finished. They are recent graduates, and they want to become data scientists. So they come to us, they join this program, they are with us 3 months, and then the remainder with the companies, and we keep on providing support. That has been, you know, piloted by CEDAR actually in Ireland. And then we have more than 10 Marie Curie co-funds. They are fellowships at postdoctoral level, which work in cooperation, CEDAR, you know, work in CEDAR in cooperation with industry. So as you can see, everything we do is for industry. And in terms of training, we provide training at a business level, you know, and also for the different institutions, we have, you know, customized training programs for them as well. I just selected these three kind of projects, which are representatives in wind energy, where we help them, you know, solve a key problem, you know, for a large industry in Ireland and to contribute to renewable energy. And that was, you know, with applied research. So they are actually productionizing that and getting lots of benefits. Another one is in oil and gas, but they were coming with a project in terms of reliability of pumps and valves. So we just create, you know, models to actually avoid it for the maintenance, you know, to occur that often. Okay, so models of 90% prediction, you know, when these pumps were gonna need, you know, to be maintained. And one of the things that I will point out there is that by working closely with them, which was a co-funded project by the government, we actually helped them develop their own team of data scientists for industry. Okay, for the company themselves. So that was very good for them. They came to us, you know, for the expertise, and they just started to create their own team. And the last one is in the area of assisted living, in which we are spinning out 2 companies. We have more companies being incubated in CEDAR, but in this area, we are actually working, you know, to create a kind of like an AI system in which we help impaired people and and elderly people to have a better living in the future. And as I said, that the benefit is just, you know, it's being incubated, you know, from CEDAR with participating with other people in business. So our journey as a BDVA space, Okay, we have been 2 years, and we are applying for gold now. When we applied, I think there was no gold members. That was 2 years ago. So hopefully we'll get the gold now. So the BDVA has been very useful, the Big Data Value Association for us, very useful into our journey into Europe, because we are actually improving, or expanding our remit, in Europe more and more. And then the process of applying for a BDVA space label was, quite, I mean, smooth in the beginning. Obviously, the application was long enough, but over the years it has been reviewed and refined, and I think it's quite nice now. Obviously, it has to ask, for enough data because it has to be a thorough process. But I think now it just contemplates, what a DIH, should be, and what BDVA space, should be there. So it just, have these 4 main categories that need to be covered, properly. Obviously, when we applied, we were looking for the recognition at the European level, but then we just become part of this special group, okay, where we were sharing best practices. We get to know different people. We work to network. So as you can see, there's experience, benefits, and value there. And one of them was, we were networking with other DIHs. So they were sharing the same problems. They were inviting us, to present, and we were learning a lot from them. Then also from a marketing perspective, we were using this label, this accreditation, and it just increased, like our value. Okay, everyone was asking what is the BDVA. We were explaining, and they could see, that we are part of, this kind of initiative, which is always, something good, something that gives credibility, at least, for industry to come and work with us. Obviously, more visibility, participation in projects, as Daniel was saying, particularly in H 2020 projects. Also, something that is very interesting is through the BDVA and the iSpaces group, we were asked, to participate in white paper consultations. So we are ahead, what's happening in Europe because of that, and we helped define all of that. And finally, I think the BDVA space label has strengthened our European presence, and it was, I think, it helped for us being selected as the top 30 AIDIH in Ireland. Okay, so. Another thing that I would say is just as well that it's also helping because we are the natural kind of DIH in Ireland, and we are applying for, as everyone, to become the European DIH. So I think, the BDVA space level will help all of us, in that journey. Finally, one of the things that Daniel was mentioning, and this is like a success story, is just recently we have been awarded the EU for Data, where Daniel is the coordinator. And it was an initiative, with all of these 10 iSpaces. So it's a 21 partners project with 12 million. That is very good because with this project, we are contributing to define the future of AI and big data. And as part of that, we are going to map all of these initiatives and gateways, in Europe. And that will be very insightful, okay, because we are going to use this project as well, at a local level, to create a gateway for all our SMEs and multinational companies to go into Europe, okay? Provide, like a vision of what is happening there, which is they actually need it, because when they come to us, they are kind of lost, particularly in terms of, what is happening in Europe and how they can get benefits, okay? So that's, how when we received the award in 2018 with Lord Levar, the former president of the BDVA, and that's Edward, the center director, and myself. So that's good, and finally, that's all the services. So that's my contact there. If you have any questions, I will welcome, to answer them. So thank you, everyone. Daniel?
Okay, yeah, okay, Ricardo. Thanks a lot for the presentation. It was quite meaningful, quite meaningful to see what the value for your space. For your data space. Okay, so just I hope that between all of us, we reach your expectation about what an iSpace is, the value and collaboration and some experience from first hand. Just to finish the presentation, a kind reminder of this process that we have opened. We have the 2 calls. Call for iSpaces is open, and call for reviewers. And also to remind you of this webinar that we are organizing the 24th of June with the European Commission. Okay, the registration is open, and if you want to contact me, here is my email. In any case, as I mentioned before, we will be publishing all the presentations in the BDVA and PPP web pages, and you are welcome to contact any of us for further information. So thank everyone for your time. Thank to the speakers for your valuable presentations. And I wish you all of you a happy, a nice Friday and a happy weekend. Okay, so bye-bye all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.